better probably make sure that my Twitch is live. It looks like it's live. Let's hit update information just to make sure it's actually live. Uh, we get some interesting options. Stuff here going on. Look at this. Oh, we've got a live thing happening. This appears to be very quiet. I guess it's not live just yet. I should probably chill that. You know what? I should turn this off. Good morning, Sunred. We are going to be watching the SpaceX thingy, and I will be passing off my various comments and occasionally making jokes and whatever else. I might even try to build a new BFS later, but right now I have some beer in hand, so cheers. Cheers, Sunred and Dental Floss 86. So yeah, the great thing is that while this has been waiting to start, we've seen some pictures from the event. If I open the image in a new tab, we can actually zoom in some of this stuff. Oh, we can't actually. These are interesting. They've got the combustion chamber is plugged up so that you can't see inside it. Presumably for, you know, ITAR, because you're not supposed to show injector design. Oh, where is these pictures? I saw some other pictures out there. We've got some interesting stuff going on. There we go. More. So what's interesting is that this looks like the rocket that's been labeled for the abort test. It looks like a Block 5, but it has a Block 4 interstage, which is curious. And somewhere around here, yes, here we go. This guy here, if we just pause this, see this here, right? If I just roll around, this is supposed to be like a line drawing of the BFS. So you can see the engine sizes and these panels here. We're not really sure what these panels are supposed to do. There's been a few theories. But you can see this fin at the top has its particular, you know, line profile. But if you scroll over to the side, you see this fin has a different shape completely. And it has this hinge structure here. And you can just about make out the little area there where the landing leg is going to be. Also confirmed that these at the front are going to be fins. They're going to be canards. So yeah, this thing is going to have some much more control. I'm going to try build this in Kerbal, maybe tonight or tomorrow night. But yeah, anyone else got any cool stuff going on? I was thinking about getting one of the newest iPhones. My 6S is kind of killing itself. Let me tell you, my 6S is, you know, having some stress right now. I'm just looking through Twitter to see if there's any other info. Looks like somebody's posting a lot of Expanse stuff, and Winchell Chung of Atomic Rockets is retweeting it all, which is, of course, what he does well. So we're going to watch this live, and I should probably post my Twitch thing. I'm going to say, going to do the live commentary thing over at Twitch. I can't even spell Twitch right now. TV/ZOG. So yes, how's everyone else doing? You would have to take my headphone jack. Oh, get a dongle. I'm just kidding. We should put the music up. Now, did you guys see the various pictures that came out from Brady and all that? We've had... I met some amazing people this weekend at the Delta 2 launch. I don't know if you've heard the story, but I had the craziest weekend. Let me tell you, I went to the launch site. We got to drive right up to the launch site because we were going to interview a bunch of pretty senior Delta hardware people. And after that, when I was leaving, my car didn't work. So we were trying to get a tow truck in there and everything else. It was pretty entertaining. Let me just see if I've got some pictures here. Oh, looks like Brady is there as well. He's showing his picture. Unprecedented access. Yes, giving the media, except I forgot to sign up. This is Brady. He makes the best pictures. Well, except for John, who also makes good pictures. This is me having, you know, well, they were drinking water, but this was a brew pub, right? I had to get to a tow truck which would go to Vandenberg. Here's another John Krause photo. This guy is 18 years old. I'm so jealous. I'm envious of his talent. Another awesome close-up of the Gem 40 boosters. The 40 is the diameter of these casings here. So the Delta II could carry up to 9 of these, and each of these would deliver about 50 tons of thrust. The Delta II just had its last flight. There's another one. That Tory Bruno, yes, of course. At the same time, John and Brady went up into the hills, up to the Harris Grade, hoping to get above the clouds and get a picture of the rocket gracefully arcing off, you know, heading off into the sunrise or whatever. Unfortunately, the clouds were just above this altitude. Sunrise, or sunset, sorry. Do you think the BFR can live up to spec? That's a good question. That was another one. We were basically out scouting locations and we ran into these guys, which was how our weekend started, which was pretty sweet. Anyway, let me see if I've got any pictures I posted. You're catching a stream, but I'm just sitting around talking about things, so I wouldn't be too, you know... oh yes, very important thing, by the way. If you ever encounter a flat earther that says that these sun rays cannot possibly be parallel, just remind them that train tracks are supposed to be parallel. Just, you know. Oh yeah, here's one of my videos. Look, you can actually click on this. Oh yeah, you can't really see it though. That's the best kind of stream, drinking beer. Oh, here's another one. Here's a slowed down version. How do I make this bigger? How do I make it bigger without hiding? Yeah. What's pouring tonight? This is Cherry Kush from Ale Industries. Pre-Revenue has just subscribed with Twitch Prime, and you are making my day. How is the Vault? The Vault is fine. We can't figure out what went wrong with it. Unfortunately. No. Control and mouse wheel up won't make it... I guess that might work. Okay. Oh, crap. Oh. There we go. There, we'll move this over now and get a better look at this. We'll try it again. This is a slow-mo. This is quarter speed. This is me. I took it from about 4 miles away. Using a Sony RX10, which I noticed, by the way, is currently on sale this morning, as of today. I'm trying to adjust my screen. Oh, damn it. Hold on. Try to not... there. Just there. Look at that beautiful thing. 7 minutes. Marvelous, huh? But this is actually what it looks like at full speed. Sony should make an RL10. You know, that rocket is carrying one of the last AJ-10 engines to be used in an upper stage. I mean, the AJ-10 still exists, it's just suddenly they're not being used in upper stages everywhere. Oh yeah, this is my cheap-ass camera. It's like a Nikon Coolpix point and shoot, and the best thing about this is watch the trail. Like, it becomes really well defined because everything was so overexposed. That was the best part of this. You can actually see the light going sideways as the rocket turns and the illumination changes. Yeah, remember Doug from JPL that gave us a tour? It's not my first rocket launch. Here's another one. This is from my iPhone. Basically, every camera I had, I just put it out there, figuring out that they might catch something. So this one is really far out, but because it's got such a wide field of view, you can see the light moving sideways here. Because the rocket goes up and then it arcs over that way. So you can make that out in this case. Yeah, zoomed image. Oh, you can actually hear the sound from this thing. Oh yeah, that is Brady's... That's Brady's camera lens as compared to the launch tower. Just so you know. Yep, gravity turns are much more aggressive on Mars. Oh yeah, this is an iPhone image. Just so you know, an image taken from my i6s. The tower did not move. It was struggling from the same problems I had. I'm gonna say that even though the tower never moved, the sunset really cooperated. The sun even peeked through the little section at the bottom. Do I still play KSP? Yeah, I do. I'm probably going to play it tonight to try, or maybe a little bit to try and build the BFS with the current spec. Whenever this goes live. There's me, sitting next to the tower. And yes, me and Das were interviewing people for the Delta 2 history thing. VO1 Wait, is that really 3,000 bits, or is that the fake one? I cheer 3,000. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, did I have to cheer like 3,000 times? Thank you for your donation. Seriously, I'm super... I don't know how to run Twitch, so whenever people give me stuff, I'm always like, awesome! That's pretty sweet. I totally appreciate that. You were watching the Von Braun Disney thing from 55. That's pretty cool. Oh, yeah. The town of Lompoc has a lot of murals around, but this is one on the side of the McDonald's. I think it's an Alan Bean or whatever. But this is the one I liked. Last of the Titans, Missile Magic. And this bit here says, nearly actual size. Yep, there's a nice model of the spacecraft that was sent up. It was called... ICESat. Right, that's for like ice, cloud, and elevation. Yes, the 6S... Oh, iOS 12 goes to everything including the 6S, the 5S. These are like the illuminated fiber. They're like the LED lines or whatever. So they're not actual lasers. These are, you can see it curves at the bottom here, so that's the illuminated string stuff. And that's me. Yeah, just benchmarks and stuff like that. Let's see if there's anything interesting coming on over the wire. See if there's any more cool things. Only update. Who are these guys? Emmys! Why am I watching all these? This is where I'm getting live feeds and everything. I'll let you know if there's any new and interesting things come out of the Twitters. Anyone else just get a 2000 network error? Not me. 2 minutes. You know, of course, you can entirely watch it live. I'm going to be turning the sound up a bit, right? Because I don't think I have many comments to say. I love this music as well. This is so... It's so chill. I love driving to it. Test Shot Starfish is something... If I was building a company, I would totally have them do the music. A syzygy is a collinear arrangement of 3 or more celestial bodies. You are absolutely correct. A syzygy is what happens when someone misarranges the letters of the word syzygy and then drops some and adds some and gets confused. But yes, getting very excited. Oh yeah, let me just see. Where are the pictures that he tweeted? Media. Okay, here, let's take a quick look at the pictures. Now, notice the angle on this is cunning, such that it hides this fin, right? But it's obvious in the final version. These are obviously the fins we talked about. You see the hinge system in here. See the shielding goes a little bit over the front of the nose now. Here is another one that was posted. Oh, This is obviously going to have to work very hard to maintain stability. I think this has to be launching from Vandenberg, because otherwise it would be gravity turning by this point. Anywhere else, anywhere else it would have been it would have turned before it hit the clouds. But Vandenberg clouds are notoriously low and close to the ground. Where's the other one that he postified? Oh, I don't know. Oh, he retweeted it, didn't he? He retweeted the picture of the moon. There it is, there. That was the image I looked at and tried to deconstruct to get an idea of what the changes to the BFS were. And he did indeed confirm this. So yeah, we're not sure what these panels are, whether they're like cooling or thrust augmentation or something like that. Obviously the nozzles probably wouldn't be firing at this altitude, let's be clear, but just in case. I mean, that would indicate, curiously, that this is going into orbit or leaving orbit. And you know, you get the idea that it's moving this way, but if it's entering orbit, it's actually going that way. Yeah, it's not really... Yeah, can you use the cone of exhaust? I don't know. I don't know if there's any way to look at the optics of this and estimate the expansion ratio or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know. But it's 6:01, so we're now waiting. I wonder what's going to happen. It does look like the Planet Express. Absolutely 100%. Okay, by the way, when we're watching, look out for Brady, because he's there and we're all jealous of him. Chris Hadfield is commenting as well. Obviously out there to troll the flat earthers. Is it shiny and metal? Robot and board confirmed then, yes. We're back to this great tune again. Brady Keniston. Oh wait, sorry, John Krause. Sorry, John's there as well, apparently. Yes. He's these are photographer people, basically, and you should totally check out his amazing website. Let's just go to his amazing website, and if you want the best pictures of rockets, you know, this is the place to go. Look at that. Is that not absolutely stunning? How about these? Look at that. Yeah, they sell prints and all that, so you should totally go looking. There's a Falcon. Oh, look at that. Look at that. These are all done with remote cameras, and I gotta admit, I loved watching people set up. I thought it was, and here's like one that didn't quite work. The trigger fired a little late, so instead you get to see these sweet clouds and everything else. It looks absolutely beautiful, but they missed the rocket itself. A happy accident. Look at this. This is a great one. You see the rocket, the SpaceX, the Falcon going up, and then there's a stage, and then this performs the burn back and comes straight back down and lands. Isn't that amazing? Again, more of those. Yeah, these are just... Let me show you. There's one photo he's got here that you should totally look for. Where is it? Here. So there's this one here, right? This amazing picture. You know how we got that picture? Standing with a tripod in the Everglades. Right? Like... Isn't that amazing? That's dedication. That's what you have to do to be this badass. And I've got to go and show you Brady as well, because he's pretty cool. Where is he? Man, he's not in that picture. Oh, the favoritist. There you go. He has a fantastic website as well. Full of amazing wedding photography. Okay. Wait, where's his other stuff? Yes, no, that's not what we're looking for. Where's this rocket stuff? There we go. Launch photography. Got it all. Parker solar probe again. Yeah, exactly. You come for the... stay for the wedding photos. The stream is running on Elon time. Delay X. Delay X is for real. The SpaceX is streaming music. That's really... what they're really telling you is they're going to fund their BFR development by playing this awesome music the whole time. I should probably make it louder, right? These are so... yep. There's some amazing photos that come out of this. You need a lot of very... what you need is to guess the exact camera settings and then trigger it exactly using an audio trigger. And the hard part is that you will probably get it wrong first time and you'll have to keep on trying. Yes. Fireworks. Photography. Eclipse, look at that. Now, where's the one that he posted that was really amazing? There's Falcon Heavy. Oh, yes. The music is not played, no, or plaid. Bangabundu, yeah. Falcon Heavy, there you go. Look at the Falcon Heavy. Oh, man. Look at all of that. And let me tell you, by the way, there was a... because the tower was just stuck and wasn't moving, Kerbal's, Space Academy just sat Brady and John down. They just wanted to sit down and we just had the camera on them talking about photography. And, like, partway through the stream, this lieutenant comes up, from the DOD. He's like, I love your stuff. We have it hanging here. It's really amazing. Like, and he was totally dumbfounded. It was a fantastic moment. Look at these. Oh, live. Okay. There we go. Gonna hide this out of here. Okay. Sound will come up. So yeah, there's the two boosters they've got sitting around. These engines are plugged up, but you can see the radius difference here, right? Look at the diameter of this thing. This is going to be all carbon fiber. Just want to check. Yeah, audio is just fine. There might be a delay with mine. I'm going to listen to it now. I'm halfway through this already. I wonder what all this stuff is sitting up here. Now I'm curious. Yeah. I like big rocket butts and I cannot lie. Those skinny things can't rely. Okay. There's more pictures down here, by the way, showing reimagined BFS. So the BFS is the upper stage. Yeah, it confirms that. Is that the BFR in the back? This is the BFR here, or BFS. What, over here? These are just interstages, I think. What else can we see? Can anyone... Oh, I'm seeing people waving at the camera. Hello? I think... Is that DOS there? Is that Kerbal Space TV there? I wish this was higher res... Oh, darn. Hold on. No. 1080p is the highest that we get. It's so dark, but I bet you people that I hung out with are down there somewhere. The picture did have canards, they were just exactly edge on. Yeah, I guess the TV camera people are at the back. So, you know, you could probably watch Kerbal Space Academy doing this live, just so you know. If you don't want to hang out with me. And Matt Lone is there as well. See, this is it. I had to get back to work because I have day job. Also, I kind of get worried I wasn't going to drive on to LA after having issues with my car. Jeff Bezos is not Japanese. I was quite impressed by how many people wanted to hang out with you. By the way, I've just realized my sound was too quiet. What broke on the car? It was a low voltage battery got discharged for some reason, so it couldn't start up the high voltage battery. I'm just saying that there's people that are there that are probably streaming live, and you can totally get their take on the whole thing as well. This looks pretty sweet. Yeah, okay, so it's live, but we don't even have the music now. Do you want me to play some music? Do you want my take on the whole thing? I have no special skills. Remember, I am not a rocket scientist. I only play one on the internet. Volt's a 2013. Oh, they can't stream from inside? Okay. I like how there's a guy wearing a face mask down here. Like, what's he worried about? Is he worried about the LA air? In that case, he needs a better face mask. Oh, look! Look at that! Look, you see little wings here? This is already turning around to come back. Notice that? So because they're talking about passengers, incidentally, they're going to have at least one of these that's the cargo version first. Because I think this is supposed to refuel in low Earth orbit so it can perform the boost around the moon. Yeah, there's 7 pushers on the interstage. That is a good observation there. Again, look, the horizon is angled. This is straight up. That has to be launching from Vandenberg, right? Either that or the clouds are very low for Florida. What are the odds of that? Also launching just after dark, judging by the angles. Oh, see, those are the wings right there that we didn't see. Note the number of floors, by the way. Like, if you have... Imagine every passenger having one window. Oh, of course. Yeah, I don't know if I would trust that size of glass. I don't think that's what... I think that's too sci-fi. I honestly don't think those windows will be quite as big. I'm gonna say I've seen like Cirque du Soleil where they had musicians flying around on wires and doing trapeze. That could totally work. Oh, I bet you. Yeah, Lindsay Sterling. She'll be the first one, right? After all, Lindsay Sterling is technically already in space. She has an asteroid named after her. Oh, we get some new music. Exciting music. Yes. Yeah, one of Lindsay Sterling's fans had naming rights. Let's get the auto cue, I see.
Alright, let's see. Well, can you hear me okay? It sounds like you can. Great. Well, welcome. We're incredibly excited to talk more about the BFR rocket and announce the first private astronaut, first a private citizen that's going to go into deep space. And I'm going to start off with just talking a bit about BFR and kind of how we got to this point.
Okay.
So the purpose of SpaceX, the reason for creating SpaceX was to accelerate the advent of humanity becoming a spacefaring civilization, to help advance rocket technology to the point where we could potentially become a multi-planet species and a true spacefaring civilization.
Why not?
Yeah, as we consider sort of the fossil record, the history of civilization, it's important to bear in mind, like, there could be some natural event or some man-made event that ends civilization as we know it, or in life as we know it. And so it's important that we try to become a multi-planet civilization, extend life beyond Earth, and to do so as quickly as we can. That window of opportunity may be open for a long time, or it may be open for a short time, but we should not assume that it is open for a long time. We should take action and become a multi-planet civilization as soon as possible. And that's kind of like the defensive reason. I do want to emphasize it's multi-planetary, not single planet, but somewhere else. We want to become a multi-planet civilization, have life on Mars, Moon, maybe Venus, the moons of Jupiter, throughout the solar system, and then ultimately extend life beyond the solar system to other star systems.
I like his jacket.
But I think that's the future that's incredibly exciting. I think that's the future that we want. And this
is the future.
There's so many things
want.
that make people sad or depressed about the future, but I think becoming a spacefaring civilization is one of those things that makes you excited about the future, makes you excited to get up in the morning. Like, this is something that you can look forward to, that makes you glad to be a human being.
I'm glad.
I hope that people will see it that way. That is the intent of BFR, is to make people excited about the future.
It'd be cool if those were speakers. One hell of a big bass bins, you know? You could start pumping out the tunes using rocket power. I'm gonna say that would be a sick sound system.
So this is sort of an illustration of what it'd be like on Mars.
Really
Mars
short
base.
legs.
And I want to talk
Falcon
about
1.
It will show you, like, this is where we were 10 years ago. So we're almost at the 10th anniversary of SpaceX's first flight to orbit. So that was 2008.
Beautiful.
Yeah, September 2008. It's the first time we made orbit. And we'd had 3 attempts before that did not succeed.
Okay, he's gone all quiet again.
It's hot in here.
He's getting rid of his jacket. He totally wore it as a fashion statement.
So we'd had 3 attempts to reach orbit, and then the fourth attempt reached orbit in September 2008.
And we're glad.
And if we had not reached orbit on that attempt, the SpaceX would not exist.
Alternate
So that was
history.
the fourth and final possibility of reaching orbit. That was a very, very tough launch emotionally. But fortunately, that launch did make it to orbit. And then not long after that, we won our first really major NASA contract, or we won the space station servicing contract. And those were 2 things that were instrumental in SpaceX's success.
I think he'd be more chill if he smoked a blunt first.
Then that brings us to where we were earlier this year, which is the launch of Falcon Heavy. So we went from Falcon 1 being just a little rocket that could launch only half a ton to low Earth orbit, and it had no reusability, to Falcon Heavy, which is the most powerful rocket in the world by a factor of 2, with enough payload to orbit capability to put a fully loaded 737 passengers, fuel, and luggage.
And that
into
is
orbit.
still one of the greatest
And
shots
we're
of
able
space
to launch
history.
sort of a fun payload, which is,
It's Australia
a Tesla
there, right?
Roadster with sort of a Starman mannequin to Mars orbit. So we're able to launch a quite a heavy payload to Mars orbit and bring the two side boosters back and land them back at Cape Canaveral.
And almost the middle one.
The center core didn't land successfully, but we'll be able to do that, we think, in a subsequent launch. But it is a massive change over the course of 10 years to go from just barely being able to get to orbit to the most powerful launch vehicle in the world by a factor of 2, to have full reusability of the boost stage. We've now done missions where we've launched the boost stage several times, which is quite great. And then we've been able to refly our Dragon spacecraft. So it's an enormous change over the course of 10 years. And I think if you say, like, okay, how many people predicted in 2008 that SpaceX would have done these things by 2018? I think
I would
zero.
not have said yeah. I would have not.
That's I think
this.
zero.
I would have been skeptical.
Like, I'm not sure it's zero, but I'm not aware of anyone who had made that prediction, including me.
I would have predicted he'd have
I would have
less
said
here as
this
well.
is unlikely. Nonetheless, in 10 years, we got from tiny rockets barely making it to orbit to the world's biggest rocket by far, with reusable boost stages and sending a car to Mars. Although a lot of people don't understand, like, why we sent a car to Mars. Obviously, that's a bit confusing. Why would we send a car to Mars? That's bizarre. But the real reason was we wanted to just have something that was fun and that people could identify with. And normally when a company creates a new rocket, they just launch like a slab of concrete or something. And I was like, well, that's pretty boring. So we wanted something that was fun and that felt like you could maybe be there. And that was like the reasoning behind the car and the astronaut in the car.
I think he warms up.
That was a tribute to David Bowie and the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and a few other things. And there's also like the Asimov Foundation series etched in glass in the glove compartment.
What he's saying is he's a geek.
That's in fact, Asimov's Foundation series is a key inspiration for SpaceX.
Coming to you as a TV show soon, thanks to Apple. Supposedly.
So just an update on BFR itself.
There we go.
So the design, the production design of BFR is different in some important ways from what I presented about a year ago.
Only 100 tons now as opposed to 150.
Overall, it is 118 meters long. The payload is still similar. It's about 100 metric tons. That's 100 metric tons to, well, actually technically 100 metric tons to all the way to Mars because of orbital refueling or orbital retanking. So BFR is designed to be able to take 100 tons all the way to the surface of Mars, or to any, well, surface of Mars, maybe Ceres, but if you have a propellant depot on Mars, you're able to get from Mars to the asteroid belt to the moons of Jupiter,
yeah,
and
original
kind of like
BFR
planet and moon
was
hub all the way
300
to
tons.
the outer solar system. So BFR is really intended as an interplanetary transport system that's capable of getting from Earth to anywhere in the solar system as you establish propellant depots along the way.
I mean, it's skinnier, the upper stage, by the looks of things.
Yeah. So we've increased the payload section to be over 1,000 cubic meters. I think it'll probably end up being
So
probably
1,000 cubic
something
meters is
around
10 by 10 by 10.
1,100 cubic meters. There are forward actuated fins and rear actuated fins. The way that BFR flies is somewhat counterintuitive. If you apply your sort of normal intuition, it will not make sense. I'll try to illustrate
It's
that
very Thunderbirds. I want to see how the control surfaces
in this
move.
presentation.
So they have... Oh, look, the fins are actually slightly canted. Right. So these fins just move in.
There's the 2 forward actuated flaps, and then there are 2 rear actuated wings or fins or flaps, depending on what. They're not exactly.
Oh, these are
comparable
cargo
to anything
vessels
else out there.
here.
But you kind of want 4 control surfaces to be able to control the vehicle through a wide range of atmospheric densities and velocities. So the way it operates is kind of more like a skydiver than an aircraft. Almost the entire time when it's re-entering, it is just trying to brake. It's just trying to stop. So it's doing everything it can to shed velocity while distributing that force over the most amount of surface area possible.
So it's trying to maintain high angle of attack.
2 of the 3 rear fins actuate. They're like giant wings. It actually requires an enormous amount of force to move those.
Yep.
To move those wings. It's sort of in the meganewton class of force.
If only they had some sort of powerful electric motors.
The third fin or wing-like structure is actually does not actuate, and it is not a vertical stabilizer as it may appear. It is actually just a leg. So during the high velocity portion of entry, it's in the lee of the wind, and it really doesn't have any aerodynamic purpose, and it's really just a leg. It looks the same as the other ones for purposes of symmetry. So this is a true physics
CFD.
simulation of BFR re-entering.
Right, so look at how these things move.
So it is mostly just coming in like this.
It's like high angle of attack. See that?
At a very high angle of attack.
And so they actually fold them.
In fact, one of the things
wow.
that, for the general public, is a tricky thing to understand is that orbit means you are zooming around the Earth at a very high speed.
So now how does it transit to
it's
reverse?
It's counterintuitive where people think perhaps once you get to a certain altitude, gravity turns off. This is not the case. In order to go up and stay up, you have to move around the Earth at approximately 25 times the speed of sound.
So wait,
in fact, the
just
space
folds them
station
in?
is circling the Earth every 90 minutes. This is a very important concept to understand, that orbit is entirely about your speed horizontal to the ground or parallel to the ground. It is going up and staying up the only reason you need altitude at all is to get out of atmospheric drag. So if Earth didn't have an atmosphere, you could orbit 1 meter or like 3.28 feet above the ground, no problem. Well, it'd be a little dodgy, but it's technically possible. So yeah, if you looked at that simulation, it might be worth playing that again.
I
Actually,
really want to see this in detail because I want to build a Kerbal version and I don't know how to map the controls to these things.
So you can see it's basically coming in. If this is the Earth, if this stage is the Earth, it's coming in like that. And it's just using its entire body to brake.
I think these are angled
and it
slightly.
It sort of goes like that and slows down, and then it falls like a skydiver. And then it rights itself, fires the engine, and lands on the fins.
So notice it comes down
and this will
and
look
flattens this out.
really epic in person. Like, it looks like guarantees to be
How
exciting.
do they optimize for that, I wonder?
And you can see it sort of falling body first for quite a while. And it's really quite gentle. You're just sort of falling at terminal velocity for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Very gentle fall, just sort of
Falling
like
at
floating
100
down.
meters per second.
And then it rights itself at the end, fires the engines and lands.
And then watch, as it lands, it has to fold those
It's
gear.
very counterintuitive. It's
back.
not like anything that people are familiar with. It's not like an airplane. Or, yeah.
It has to be entirely computer controlled. There's no going to be people flying this.
And then obviously, if you're landing on the moon, you don't need any aerodynamic surfaces at all, because there's no air.
Right, so they're using
you
control,
just need thrusters.
RCS and everything for that. So there's the tool.
The next steps with BFR are we're going to build it, or we are building it.
They've built
This
pieces
is
already.
a picture of the main cylinder section of BFR. So BFR is 9 meters in diameter. It's really quite enormous. You can get a sense of scale. Like that's to scale. So that gives you a sense of the size of the vehicle. Quite enormous. But we're already building it. So we've built the first cylinder section. So that's the first actual cylinder section.
Yeah, people that have been on tour
the
have
BFR
seen
prototype.
this cylinder section.
And we'll be building the domes and the engine section
it's just a big cylinder,
soon.
right?
And then this is the Raptor engine.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to see.
So this is the Raptor engine that will power BFR, both the ship and the booster. It's the same engine. And this is approximatally
I didn't see a green flash
200-ton
that
thrust
time,
engine.
by the way.
That's
So
aiming for roughly 300 bar or 300 atmosphere chamber pressure. And depending upon, if you have it at a high expansion ratio, has the potential to have a specific impulse above 380.
yeah, you can probably figure out the expansion ratio by the distance of the Mach
and it's a
diamond
stage
in the 300
combustion,
bar, by the way.
full flow, gas, for those who are interested in technical details. I'm really excited about this engine design. I think the SpaceX propulsion team has done an amazing job on this engine design. And the SpaceX structures and aero, SpaceX team has done a phenomenal job in design of this. It's like super great. Like, well done, guys.
This is just what this is the pipes are air is condensing on them and it's getting
stupidly
sucked
hard
along
problem.
by the Venturi
And
effect.
SpaceX engineering has, I think, done a great job with this design. It's like,
I think it's an amazing engine. If
I
it
don't think
works.
most people, even in the aerospace industry, know what question to ask. It took us a long time to even frame the question correctly. But once we could frame the question correctly, the answer was, I wouldn't say easy, but the answer flowed once the question could be framed with precision. Framing that question with precision was very difficult.
Bringing his clicker out.
Yeah, so this is the trajectory. So we'll take off, have booster separation, go into parking orbits,
so there's
do
no
a translunar injection, fly around the moon,
so there's
and
no
then come back and land.
engine burns.
Yeah. That should take a few, basically about 4 or 5 days, and be very exciting.
So there's no refueling
Very
in
exciting
orbit.
indeed.
Okay.
We'll do a bunch of test launches without any people on board before having people on board. To be clear, it's going to be very important to test this
I thought they
vehicle
would need
thoroughly
refueling
before
given
putting
it's only
anyone
a
on
two-stage
board.
rocket.
Yeah, but I can't wait. I'm super fired up about this. This is amazing.
It's totally launching from Florida. Funding!
So, funding
question.
BFR is definitely a key question. And, that's really where, we need to seek, every possible means of funding. Obviously, we've got launching of satellites. We've got servicing the space station. So we've been transporting cargo to and from the space station for several years now. And next year we'll start transporting astronauts to and from the space station. We've got the Starlink global broadband system that we're developing, which will also be a key source of revenue. But then private customers or any customers for BFR are incredibly helpful in funding the development of the rocket. So that's
okay.
That's where I'd like to introduce the first
Who is it?
paying customer of BFR. So, let's see.
Is he here?
Would Yusaku Miyazawa please come forward?
Who is it? Can somebody Google the name? Osaki? Somebody in chat start Googling this name.
Okay.
Oh, he's a young kid. How does he have that much money?
Thank you, everyone. Wow. I am from Japan.
Great.
My name is Yusaku Maezawa. You can call me MZ, please.
MZ.
Thank you. Thanks for coming to this conference today.
He's younger than me.
Thanks for watching live streaming in the internet today. Yeah. Finally, I can tell you that I choose to go to the moon.
Yay!
Yeah. Finally, I can say I'm very glad to be here, and I'm really exciting and really honored, really appreciate to be able to share this announcement with you and people all over the world.
He's a better speaker than Elon.
Talking about the moon and this project, I'd like to introduce myself a little bit, okay? Yeah. Oh, I cannot speak English very well, so please listen carefully, please.
You're better than my Japanese. You're awesome.
You can see next photo. This is me. I was ex-skateboarder. And does anyone know where this is? No? This is Santa Monica. Yay! Yeah. I had been here. I had been Santa Monica, Los Angeles when I was 18 years old. And I was a skateboarder. I was so impressed by America. Its fashion, music, art, and culture. And of course, nice people like you. Kind. American people is very kind. Yes. And after 6 months staying here, I returned back to Japan and started music. Next photo, please. I played drums for the band. Our band music is so loud, so you don't have to listen to.
I want to listen now.
But I was ex-musician. And after the band, I started my own company.
Zozo
Please?
Town.
Yes. My company is founded 20 years ago by me. So this year, my company's 20th anniversary. Woo. Thank you.
I'm liking this guy. I do. I
And
want to be his
finally,
friend.
we started our private fashion label. That name is Zozo, Z-O-Z-O. And the Zozo slogan is be unique, be equal. We are all unique. At the same time, we are all equal. It's important for us. Yeah. You can check our website, zozo.com, zozo.com later.
Just in case
Thank
we
you.
didn't get it.
Okay, that's all about me. So let's move talking about the moon and this project, okay?
Why do I want to go to the moon?
Now on to the main topic of the day. Many of you may be wondering, why do I want to go to the moon? What do I want to do there? And most of all, why did I purchase the entire BFR? Entire BFR, very huge.
Why didn't he bring a friend?
For me, this project is very meaningful. I thought long and hard about
Wait, so
how
he
valuable
has a bunch of
it
spare
would be
seats to sell.
become the first private passenger to go to the moon. At the same time, I thought about how I can give back to the world and how this can contribute to world peace. This is my lifelong dream.
He's going to invite
Today,
random people.
Thank you. Thank you.
Competition to go with him.
Today, I'd like to tell you about my plans. Okay? Ever since I was a kid, I have loved the moon. Just staring the moon filled my imagination. It's always there and has continued to inspire humanity. That is why I could not pass up this opportunity to see the moon up close. And at the same time, I did not want to have such a fantastic experience by myself. That would be a little lonely. I don't like being alone. So I want to share these experiences and things with as many people as possible. So that is why I choose to go to the moon. I choose to go to the moon with artists.
Woo, okay.
With artists.
I've got to get my art
From
chops.
now, I choose to invite artists from around the world on my journey. The first artist I thought of was, do you know,
Ooh,
Jean-Michel
wow.
Basquiat?
Yes.
You know?
But of course, not around.
As you can see, I am wearing a Comedy Garrison t-shirt featuring Jean-Michel Basquiat. He already passed away. He's
course.
New York artist. One day, when I was staring at his painting, I thought, what if Basquiat had gone to space and had seen the moon up close or saw the Earth in full view? What wonderful masterpiece would he have created?
I'm getting
Just
goosebumps
thinking
here.
about it now gets my heart racing. But once I got started, I could not stop thinking about who else. What if Picasso had gone to the moon? Or Andy Warhol? Or Michael Jackson? Or John Lennon? Or Coco Chanel? These are all artists that I adore. But sadly, they are no longer with us. But this is when I thought, there are so many artists with us today that I wish would create amazing works of art for humankind, for children of the next generation. And I wished very much that such artists could go to space, see the moon up close, and the Earth in full view,
This is
and
insane.
create works
Awesome.
that reflect their experience. This is a project that I designed and named DearMoon. Yeah.
DearMoon.
I'd like to introduce detail about DearMoon. In 2023, as the host, I'd like to invite 6 to 8 artists
Wow.
from around the world to join me on this mission to the moon. These artists will be asked to create something after they return to Earth. And these masterpieces will inspire the dreamer within all of us.
I think you should take people
Needless
from
to
Burning
say,
Man.
we have always been inspired by the moon. Take, for example, Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, or Van Gogh's The Starry Night, and the Beatles' Mr. Moonlight. These are countless number of works that have been inspired the moon all around the world. Through the ages, the moon has filled our imagination. And with utmost love and respect for the moon, our planet's constant partner, I named this project DearMoon. At the moment, I have not decided which artists I'd like to invite, but if possible, I'd like to reach out to top artists that represent our planet from various fields, including painters, sculptors, photographers, musicians, film directors, fashion designers, architects, etc. Luckily, we still have some time before 2023, so I hope to work very closely with SpaceX team and to research
Yeah,
out
Banksy
to
would be
each
an
artist
interesting one.
personally. By the way, if you should hear from me, please say yes and accept my invitation. Please don't say no. Okay.
I'll say hell yeah if you talk to me.
In any case, there is still a lot that I cannot announce today. Sorry. So I will continue to provide regular updates. we have also created a special website for DearMoon, which will go live after the press conference.
Whoa.
So please take a look. Domain will be DearMoon.earth.
Yeah,
DearMoon.earth. Please check out.
2023
And I will
Sky
also
will
keep
be
posting
18.
on my social media accounts. So please follow my accounts as well. Okay, so what did you think about this project? Oh,
That
Thank
is
you.
just
thank you.
a fascinating, like, this is total movie story stuff.
I was so nervous because my English is poor, but I am glad I got through it. Thank you. And I hope my English was not too painful to listen to. Lastly, to give you a summary of what I just tried to describe about the DearMoon. You can see the video from now, please.
Oh my god, Claire de Lune. I'm getting teary-eyed here.
It has been 50 years since Apollo 8 achieved lunar orbit in 1968. The time has come for civilians to fly to the moon. In 2023, SpaceX will launch the world's first private lunar mission with its spacecraft, BFR. The first passenger will be Japanese entrepreneur Yusaku Maezawa, a globally renowned art collector who believes art has the power to promote world peace. Maezawa made a bold decision. A painter, photographer, musician, film director, fashion designer, Maezawa will invite artists that represent Earth on his journey to the moon. The distance to the moon is 240,000 miles. The crew will spend a week in space. What will they feel when they see the moon? When they see Earth in full view? And what will they create? Their works will certainly become a legacy for humankind. An awe-inspiring, global, universal art project is about to begin. Dear Moon.
I'm just blown away. I mean, wow. Like, it's gonna be such a tragedy if this gets delayed and never happens. But wow, it would literally rob the species.
Thank you very much.
This is so amazing.
And thank you, Elon, and the SpaceX team for making today possible. I'm very excited. Thank you very much. That's all. Thank you.
Oh, and that's it, I guess. Oh no, they're bringing up seats to have a little sit down and chat and ask questions. Well, there's 3 seats though, so what, Gwen gonna come up? Oh, they got a space helmet in the background there, I see. I can think of better film directors, put it that way. Yeah, it's a shame Kubrick's gone. But, you know, Guillermo del Toro, although they might have issues with fitting him in the suit. I honestly think they should look at Burning Man artists. That would be pretty special. Oh, she's there as the translator, because he probably practiced his speech and the
All right,
freeform
so
stuff will be a little harder
Can
for
we
him.
do some Q&A? I'm not sure. Sorry?
Yeah.
Great. How did the questions get asked? I'm not actually sure.
Yeah, I would say Banksy would be pretty cool.
Hi, Elias. Ken Chang from New York Times.
Oh, okay.
So
Hey, Ken.
in the past 2 years, we've seen 3 designs for this rocket, and it's 5 years before you plan to send these people to the moon. Have you finalized this? Are you still planning the hopper test next year? And could you sort of give more details of how you plan all these tests to be ready in 2023? Are you planning like an uncrewed mission to the moon and back?
Yeah, so, but obviously you followed the whole progress of the design and indeed of SpaceX itself. So you've got quite a lot of background. I feel like this is the final iteration in terms of broad architectural decisions for BFR, BFS. There are a few ways to. There's more than one way to solve this problem, and the prior design, the iteration before this, decoupled the landing legs from the control surfaces and had essentially 6 legs and then 2 actuating rear flaps. I actually did not like the aesthetics of that design. And so we have the 3 sort of large legs with 2 of them actuating as body flaps or large moving wings, effectively. I think this design is probably on par with the other one. It might be better. It's slightly riskier, technically, because of coupling legs and sort of the actuating wing fin flaps. But I think it's the right decision overall. I think it looks beautiful. And I love the Tintin rocket design. So I kind of wanted to bias it towards
rocket
that.
design.
If in doubt, go with Tintin. And then additional flights. We're going to do a lot of test flights. So we still anticipate doing hopper flights next year. And then, depending upon how well those go, we'll do high altitude, high velocity flights with the ship in 2020.
An obvious choice for an artist is Matt
And also
Koenig.
start doing tests of the booster. And if things go well, we could be doing the first orbital flights in about 2 to 3 years. And then we'll do many such test flights, and before putting any people on board. I'm not sure if we will actually test a flight around the moon or not, but probably we will try to do that without people before sending people. That would be wise.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty wise.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Toshi Ogata from the Japanese newspaper called Asahi Shimbun. Mr. Musk, you chose a Japanese citizen for the first passenger.
Well, he chose us.
What? Oh, okay. But what's your message behind that? The first passenger was a Japanese citizen instead of U.S. citizen or the rest of the world. What's your message to the rest of the world through this announcement?
Well, he is I think, the bravest person and the most willing to do so. And he was the best adventurer, I think. He stepped forward to do it. To be clear, this is, it's really, we're honored that he would choose us. This is not us choosing him. Yeah, I would defer to comments. Maybe you would like to make some comments, but he's a very brave person to do this. And because he is paying, a lot of money, we're not disclosing the amount, but he is paying a lot of money that will help with the development of this ship and booster. And ultimately, this system, this BFR system, is intended to be able to carry anyone to orbit and to the moon and to Mars. And so he is ultimately helping pay for the average citizen to be able to travel to other planets. It's a great thing. Yeah.
Yeah. You've got to back up a dump truck of money and still be brave.
I hope this is really seen as a very positive thing and something that people are excited about.
I don't think you could not be excited.
It's dangerous, to be clear. This is dangerous. This is no, walk in the park here. This will require a lot of training. And it's not again, it's like, when you're pushing the frontier, it's not a sure thing. It's not like just taking an air flight somewhere. There's some chance that something could go wrong. We'll do everything we can to minimize that. But whenever it's the first flight of something on a new technology, and we're talking about deep space, you have to be a very brave person to do that. This is no small matter.
Yeah. I'm going to nod.
David Curley from ABC News. 2 quick questions.
It's impossible to know where the mic's coming from because I just hear the speakers.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
No pad. Falcon Heavy and the 2 deposits, the 2 passengers who were going to go, what happened to them? And bigger picture, what did you think when he came to you and said, I want to do an all-civilian global art project and buy an entire flight to the moon?
Well, it's the same person, but with Falcon Heavy and Dragon, that we would have had essentially, especially for a trip around the moon, only room for 2 people, because it's meant for sort of 4 to 7 for low Earth orbit on Dragon. But it's like about the size of, an SUV inside there. Like if you have a 5-day journey in an SUV, you don't want to be jam-packed. So that's why there was sort of only kind of 2. Now, BFR has got room for 100. And we said, well, maybe it's wise on this to have about a dozen people or thereabouts on the first trip into deep space. He's very graciously offered to provide those seats to artists and cultural influences and like basically
influencers. Influencers. That means me.
Key influences in society and.
This is straight out of sci-fi.
We better get that flight right. We're gonna definitely be doing everything we possibly can to make sure that is a good flight.
I kind of hope that Bjork gets on the list.
But instead of 2, you can have a dozen.
Maybe like Neil Gaiman. I'd like him to go.
Probably not wise to have 100 on this flight, but we'll leave a lot of extra room for extra fuel and oxygen. Sort of food and water, spare parts, just sort of kind of just in case. If something goes wrong, like you have as much opportunity as possible for a recovery. I mean, this is a dangerous mission.
Yes, I mean,
it's definitely dangerous. Yep.
Who else? I think Brian May would be cool, but I'm thinking of just music. I keep thinking music.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim Burton, maybe he's getting a bit old.
Hi, my name is Makoto Mitsui from the Yomiuri Shimbun, Japanese newspaper. I have 2 quick questions. One goes to Mr. Maezawa and one goes to Mr. Elon. To Maezawa-san, how much did you pay for the moon travel, or how much do you plan to pay for the moon travel? And
that's secret.
Another question to the Elon. So, what kind of SpaceX specific characteristics or company culture do you think has contributed to SpaceX becoming the leading company in the United States to come up with innovations such as BRF? Thank you.
BRF.
Sorry, I cannot answer the price, the cost today. Sorry.
Oh,
It's going to be free for the artists.
there we go. Yes.
So
That's
cool.
good.
I think it's
I
a
think
really
you
good
should send
gesture.
Johnny
It's good of you
Ive.
to do that.
There you go. Industrial designer.
As far as the, I think what attracts a lot of the best talent in the world, so the best engineers in the world, to SpaceX is the nature of the mission, which is we want to advance
percentage
space
of people like
technology
That's a good
to
question.
make humanity a multi-planet species, and I think that the very best engineers in the world, it's not just about a job or making a salary or whatever. It's like, how was the time spent? Did it matter? What was the significance of the project?
Jamiroquai. They should send Jamiroquai.
This is very important, I think, to the best engineers, because the best engineers, they can work anywhere. And I think the fact that this is a mission and it's a lot of hard work, but we're trying to go about it in the right way. I think this is a key reason why some of the best people in the world come to work at SpaceX, and that's how we're able to make progress.
Maroon jacket, right here.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Childish
Mireya Garial with
Gambino,
CBS
wow.
News. We just had a quick question. I mean, obviously we know that this is going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of precision. In the past, we've known that there have been project deadlines that have not been met. For example, with the Falcon Heavy, what makes you so sure that you can actually meet that 2023 deadline?
No, we're definitely not sure. I want to be clear. And I think we've been pretty unsure about prior dates too. I mean, if I had some sort of crystal ball, I'd love to know, how long something will take. I mean, you have to set some kind of date that is kind of like the things go right date. And then, of course, we have reality, and things do not go right in reality. Usually there are many setbacks and issues. So, if we put a date out there, it's kind of like, well, if everything goes approximately right, then this is the date. But there's so many uncertainties. I mean, this is a ridiculously big rocket. It's got so much advanced technology.
The ridiculously big rocket. That's the RB.
I mean, it's not 100% certain that we succeed in getting this to flight. It's not even 100% certain. I think it's
not even 100%.
Pretty likely, but
there
it's
you
not
go.
certain. And but we're going to do everything humanly possible to bring it to flight as fast as we can, and as safely as we can. Yeah.
Oh, he's gone all quiet now. Yeah, I mean, it would seriously suck if this never happened.
Hi,
now.
Stephen Clark
it's,
from
it's such a
Spaceflight Now.
promise.
Elon, have you made a decision on where the BFR will launch and land initially? And also, for Yusaku, if you're not saying how much you are paying, but can you say if you've made a down payment of any kind at this point? Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
I did.
I did.
Already.
Yeah,
Good. That makes us feel more comfortable.
Yeah, here's the real
I
deal.
want to know what the black
definitely,
surface is on the heat
It's
shield.
made a significant deposit on the first, on the price, which is a significant price, and will actually have a material effect on the on paying for the cost of development of VFR. Like, it's a non-trivial amount that is. It's like of material impact to the BFR program. So it really, actually, it makes a difference. This is, yeah.
I guess I wonder, will there
He
be
puts his money where his mouth is.
size and weight limits for the
legit,
artists?
so.
Like, as I said, Guillermo del Toro might, or Peter Jackson.
Sorry, there's
might
another
not
part to the
manage
question,
it.
maybe? I don't know.
Yes, have you selected a launch and landing site for BFR for the initial flights and first orbital flights? Thank you.
We've not yet firmly decided on a. I should say for the short hops, we will be doing it out of our Texas site. So we have a site that is on the south coast of Texas, near Brownsville, and that's where we will be doing the initial hops of BFS. You should probably think of a different name, but this was like kind of the code name, and it kind of stuck. But we might change that name in the future.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
thinking.
the only thing is, like, I think we want to name like the first ship that goes to Mars after the Douglas Adams, my favorite spaceship, the Heart of Gold from
The Heart of
Hitchhiker's Guide to the
Gold.
Galaxy.
Yes.
Yeah. As for the first orbital flights, we've not made a firm decision on that, and it may actually be that we launch from a floating platform. That's possible.
Why? Why would you do that? It's a shame that Ian Banks died as well. He would have been a perfect option.
Hi, thanks for doing this. You've shown us the outside of the spacecraft. Can you talk about the work that you've done so far and what the plan is for stuff that goes in it, life support, interior, all the safety stuff you're going to need? And speaking of safety, you mentioned this is a very dangerous mission. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, is there any quantification you can provide to us? Any sort of testing you're doing to the carbon fiber body, things like that, to ensure that this can be as safe as possible? Thanks.
For the interior, we've just have some sort of concepts in terms of what it would be like, and depending upon what type of mission, you'd have a different configuration. So if you were going to Mars, for example, that's at least kind of a 3-month journey, maybe upwards of a 6 or 7 month journey. So if you're going to be in something for 3 to 6 months, you want to have like a cabin, and then have like a common area for recreation, and some sort of meeting rooms, or because you'll be in this thing for months. Now, if you're going, say, to the moon or around the moon, you kind of have a several day journey.
Yeah, they could put a Dragon capsule
probably still
in it
want
as a
cabins.
spare.
Yeah. Common area. I think you want to have like a lot of like what is the most fun that you can have in 0G? That for sure is a key thing. Fun is underrated.
Fun is.
It's like 3 more of that.
Yeah, more fun.
So, well, like, what is the most enjoyable thing we can possibly do? We'll do that, I think. And then safety-wise, this will be built upon our work with the NASA crew Dragon design. We're going to put more engineering effort into having a fully recyclable system for BFR.
Space Quidditch.
Because if you have a very long journey, it makes sense to have like a sort of closed loop oxygen CO2 system, a closed loop water system. Whereas if you are, say, just going out for several days, you don't necessarily need to have a fully closed loop system. So
I was going to say they should bring like an extreme
that's needed
sports dude
for the
along,
Mars journey,
or
but I
lady,
think
whatever.
probably
Someone that does
we can mostly
skydiving
leverage the
and
work
wingsuiting.
we've done for the NASA crew mission to the space station for the lunar journeys. And we've learned a great deal from NASA, and I really just want to, just give another word of appreciation to NASA. We would not be where we are today without them, and that NASA does remain our primary priority, along with national security space missions. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to pick
hello,
artists,
I'm Tim Fernholtz with Quartz over here. Hey, Elon. Hey, MZ. Question for each of you. MZ, I'm curious if you could talk about what kind of training you expect to go ahead of this mission, what the experience is going to be like to you, and how much input you're having in that tourist experience. And then Elon, I'm just curious if you can tell us what percentage of the company's effort or time is going to BFR right now versus other projects, and how important is that April 2019 commercial crew flight to making this moon mission happen?
Oh, he answered a question. Yeah.
Can I answer in Japanese?
Okay.
まあこれから全部決めますと。まだ何も決まってません。でトレーニングもどんなことするかもまだわかりません。
Notice his watch, by the way.
So nothing's written in stone. So we are going to start discussions and decide here on forward. And we haven't really discussed what type of training we'll be doing as either.
Well, I've no idea what watch he's wearing. It's not an Apple Watch.
Let's see. In terms of SpaceX resources, this is still quite a small portion of SpaceX resources. Certainly less than 5% of SpaceX. Less than 5% of SpaceX resources are currently spent on BFR. Now that will change quite significantly in the years to come. But overwhelmingly, our resources are focused on launching satellites, transporting cargo to and from the space station, and then our top priority is the upcoming NASA crew mission next year, and we're hoping to do a test flight of Dragon 2 in December, and then crewed flight next year, hopefully in the sort of second quarter of next year. So that's definitely our top priority. As we complete Crew Dragon, then we will shift our resources more and more to VFR. So I think, assuming that the National Crew mission goes well, and that's really quite fundamental to the future of SpaceX. As I said, it's the top priority. Then, once that is, well, hopefully, assuming that is successful and goes well, then we're probably towards the end of next year, we would switch a majority of our new engineering development towards BFR by the end of next year.
Wow, that's betting the company on BFR.
Hi, this is Liz Lopato with The Verge. I have two questions. I have one for the passenger and one about the rocket. My first question is, what do you look forward to most while you're in space? What do you most want to do while you're going around the moon? And the second is, how much money is it going to take to develop the BFR to make this trip?
I love art, so アートとアートの融合だから、アーティストとアーティストがコラボレーションして何が生まれるかっていうのを目の前で見ることができるのが非常に楽しみです。
So I love art, and I'm looking very much forward to seeing what different artists getting together could bring to life.
I'm hoping that more than one
it's actually hard
musician
to say what
comes
the
along.
development cost is of the BFR system. I think it's roughly $5 billion. You know, it's difficult to say what it would end up being, but that's, if I were to guess, it would be something like $5 billion.
I think DOS is there.
Which would be really quite a small amount for a project of this nature. Like $5 billion is obviously a very large amount of money, but small for a project of this nature.
I think you should totally do like Twitch streaming from the States,
last question, the LA
mission.
Times. Hi, Samantha Masanaga, LA Times. One question for Elon. You mentioned the various revenue streams that you're planning to use to pay for BFR development. What's your estimate of the development costs for BFR?
Sorry, what's the question?
What's your estimate of development costs for BFR?
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Is for this BFR system, I think it's probably on the order of $5 billion.
$5 billion.
Something like that.
And it's still a whole lot
I don't think it's more
less
than 10
than the entire.
And I don't think it's
SLS.
like less than 2. We do a few more questions if there's. Yeah. I want to make sure if you made your way out here and you feel like there's an important question that we haven't we definitely try to do our best to answer it.
Elon.
And by the way, thanks guys for coming out here. It's good to see you.
Wish I could have got an invite.
Elon, Ed Ludlow from Bloomberg Television. Thank you for the event.
Yes.
I have a question about lunar landing and trips to the surface, because you outlined your vision for multi-planet species, the future of the human race. Is that something concrete in the near term as a stepping stone or a way to drive additional revenue? And for the passenger, have you spoken to any of your billionaire friends, any of your high net worth friends, to either convince them of your vision to join you on BFR or to answer Elon's plea for funding for more BFR? If you could answer that, I'd be grateful. Thank you.
Well, I think it'd be very exciting to have a moon base. I
Yes.
just watched this corny show called Moon Base Alpha. It's made no
Space
sense.
1999.
But it was cool. There was a base on the moon. We should have a base on the moon. Why do we? It's 2018. Why is there no base on the damn moon? There should be one.
Yeah, who cares about flying cars based on
we
the
should
moon?
go there a lot. I think that'd be amazing to have a base on the moon, particularly if it was something where the average person, if they saved up, could go. That'd be incredible. And that's the kind of thing we want to do.
Thanks to everyone in chat
Sorry?
that tracked down the watch, by the way.
Oh yeah. No, BFR is designed to land on any surface in the solar system, whether there's air or not. That's why it's important to have a propulsive landing system. Wings and landing gear work great on Earth, but they kind of need an atmosphere and a runway.
I think he might have trouble landing on
and
Venus.
who's going to build that runway? How do you get? Begs the question. Somebody's going to build the runway. Also, there's no air on the moon, but tricky to land with wings. So, propulsive landing is the way to go. It's actually the only way to go, really. You could try to use if you had a small payload, try to sort of bounce. That was one of the Mars missions. Had a
bouncing. Oh, guys, talking about
kind of,
bouncing the capsule to
bouncy
land
castle thing. But
Yes.
I don't think that's gonna sell well. So propulsive landing is the way to go. And this is designed for propulsive landing, and the fins are designed to deal with a wide range of atmospheric conditions. So it could, land on in theory, another planet with atmosphere. You wouldn't want to land on Venus, though.
Oh, good. We figured that one out. Whew.
Yeah, it's kind of like Mars and Earth, pretty much, that have an atmosphere. Everything else is...
Titan! What about Titan?
Either not relevant in its atmosphere or it's like a gas giant or something like that. So you really want propulsive landing, and then you use an atmosphere if it's helpful for braking, but you don't require it. Yeah. But we want it'd be great if there was regularly scheduled flights to the moon.
Yes, it would.
I mean, that's
what
a
my
great
job.
future.
I want my
That's
job
a great
to be.
future. Yeah.
Thank you, Elon. Eric Johnson with Reuters News. Let's say you hit your 2023 goal, and you just talked about, regular lunar trips. Can you talk about what your goal is for an annual ramp up of how many trips you'd like to see? That's question one.
5 billion.
And then the second part is
2.5 years of
Boeing
SLS
CEO
funding.
has said that the first humans will go to Mars on a Boeing rocket.
Game on. Let's do it.
Okay, that's what I want to ask you is, given the increased competition,
good.
What do you have to say to that? Thank you so much.
I say yeah, good. That's I'm glad you said that. That's great. We should do it. Competition's a good thing. It's races are interesting. I say I'm glad. I hope Boeing really goes hardcore for Moon and Mars missions. Yeah, that'd be really great. As far as the ramp up, it's as fast as we can make it go, we'll make it go.
Yeah, no one's asked the
we're
technical
pedal to the
stuff
metal.
about the nozzles.
We just need to make sure we have our priorities right. And our priority is, the NASA, crewed mission, our satellite customers. Those are our current priorities. And once we are confident that that is taken care of, then we will ramp up BFR big time, get the Starlink system active. Hopefully that does the trick. And it'd be great if Boeing, like this, really good at making airplanes. So maybe they can be really good at making rockets too. That's great.
They do make rockets. They make the Delta IV. Right.
Hey, Elon. Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut here.
Oh, Tim.
I see that you changed the engine configuration
Thank
for
you.
the BFS. Can you talk a little bit about, is there still engine out capability? Is it vacuum optimized but still landable on sea level? Can they function as an abort system? Can you just kind of tell us about your new decision making on that?
Oh yeah, actually you noticed that, that's a good thing to notice. Good eye. So in order to minimize the development risk and cost, we decided to commonize the engine between the booster and the ship. So like a future upgrade path for BFS would be to have a vacuum optimized nozzle. So these are sort of, these nozzles are kind of a, kind of a sea level nozzle, size nozzle. So they're able to operate well at sea level because they're essentially the booster size nozzle. Like where you see that sort of cargo around the perimeter, you can actually switch out those cargo sections for a vacuum nozzle version of the Raptor. So, and it can go all the way to, the vacuum nozzle can go all the way to the perimeter of all the way to basically the skin of the vehicle. So, you can have
they've got room in the design.
Which has maybe three or four times the exit diameter of the Raptors that you see there.
Well, there we go. That makes sense.
Engines in the perimeter, and the exchange would be that you'd lose basically 2 of those cargo racks in exchange for every vacuum engine. But then your total payload performance to Mars would increase significantly. But we can do the 100 tons to the surface of Mars with those engines. But it would definitely, I think, like version 2 would have the vacuum engines most likely in place of those cargo racks.
That's Tim showing that while he started out as a dude with a spacesuit, he's actually learned this stuff.
The engines in that configuration, with 7 engines, means it's definitely capable of engine out at any time, and including 2 engine out in almost all circumstances. So you could lose 2 engines and still be totally safe. In fact, in some cases you could lose up to 4 engines and still be totally fine. So it only needs 3 engines for landing. 3 out of 7.
I'm going to say it's strange to have a press conference at SpaceX without the cafeteria being audible in the
Ivan
background.
Koronov, Agence France Presse. Mr. Maezawa, have you thought about how you're going to select the artist? And Mr. Musk, can you give us an idea of whether Mr. Maezawa contributed more or less than 5% of the development cost?
Do you mean? ああ、そういうこと。基本的には自分の好きなアーティストに声をかけたいです。
In principle, I would like to reach out to the artists that I love.
で、5% でもやってくれてありがとう。
And I'm happy with just 5%. Thank you very much for working on the rocket.
Enough. Thank you.
Well, I don't think we're gonna obviously do any percentage math that would kind of give it away, But it's a material percentage. Material percentage.
Hi, Elon. Robert Perlman with Collect Space and Space.com.
Okay. Sorry, it's almost impossible to see what's going on. Okay.
You showed a trajectory screen before. For this flight, can you talk a little bit about the profile, maximum G that the passengers will experience? How long will they be at the moon, and how close
They'll
will they
be
be
at the
above
moon
the surface?
for hours and gone home because it's a free return trajectory.
Well, it's important to bear in mind we can actually adjust the maximum Gs in exchange for a reduction in payload. So this is a mission we could probably do in the ascent phase, keeping it under a 3G ascent. Although, normally you'd probably want to go to 5Gs, but under 3Gs, maybe even like 2.5, because we'd have a lot of extra payload. And then this mission would be a loop around the moon. The exact mission profile has not been decided, but I think it would be pretty exciting to kind of like skim the surface, go real close, and then zoom out far, and then come back around. So in the diagram, it looks kind of symmetric, but I think you'd probably want to go real close, and then go zooming past the moon, go far out, kind of get about as far from Earth as you can get within reason. So like even the moon's relatively small, and you come.
Oh wow, he's just really
in.
Thinking about his course here.
And then.
Well, this is how he plays
if
Kerbal Space Program.
We could do sort of like like an initial atmospheric. There are like two ways to do it. You could either come straight in, which would be a relatively high G situation. That might be like maybe a 6G entry or something like that. Or you could do one where you skim the atmosphere and shed velocity, and then capture into low Earth orbit, and then do a deorbit burn and come in which case you could probably keep the entry Gs hopefully to around 3.
This is exactly the kind of thing I have done.
But those are kind of.
I'm not sure the heat shield can manage it.
Numbers.
Yeah, multi-pass aero brake.
This is the last question.
Michael Sheets with CNBC. Elon, you're standing next to the first real person who's putting money behind a project of putting people into space. What does that make you think about going into space yourself, and when do you think that's going to happen?
You mean like me personally? Oh, well, I think first of all, like I would say, I think this is like done a lot to restore my faith in humanity, that somebody's willing to do this. Like, take their money and like help fund this new project that's risky, might not succeed, it's dangerous. It's like donating seats, like these are great things. It's like, I tell you, it's done a lot to restore my faith in humanity. And as far as me going, I'm not sure. He did suggest like maybe that I would join on this trip. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right,
Please, yeah.
maybe we'll both be on it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks everyone for coming. It's very exciting. It's guaranteed to be a really exciting journey, and we'll keep you posted along the way. Yeah, I hope you're fired up. I'm super fired up. This is going to be great. Thank you.
Yay! Well, it's going to be an interesting 5 years or so. That's all I can say. I'm tweeting. Okay, so now I'm gonna have to go and clean the kitchen, and then maybe I'll come back and actually try to build this and make it fly. Because I'm really interested in the control system. I might have to write custom software for it or something. I'm gonna put the music down, just hold on. Yeah, I'm still like, whoa! Mind literally blown. I'm not, I'm obviously skeptical that they'll do it in 5 years, but I hope they do. If they do it in 7 years, it will still be one of the most amazing projects in the history of history projects. Wow. You know, like, where we go. Wow! Mind blown! I don't know, that's right. I might need some custom avionics software written to make this thing work, but I know I've got all the parts in using, Infernal Robotics and I think I'm gonna try and just test the control scheme. But I'm gonna go away. I might come back later. Might come back tomorrow and do this. This is really special. And God, I'm glad I watched that. Who cared about the Emmys? Seriously. Anyway, I'll be back maybe later. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing this with me. I mean, seriously, I was getting, teary-eyed there. And see, I can say that because my name's Manly, so I don't need to worry about, being a tough guy or anything because, it's my name. That's also why I can wear like a kilt and be cool with it, So anyway, yes, thank you all for turning up. I will see you around possibly later, but it's going to depend on how much time it takes to do all the other cleaning and stuff like that. Yes, I need to brush up on my DJing. Thank you very much. Fly safe.